Turning Point USA is holding its first event in Utah since the assassination of its founder, Charlie Kirk. The shooting of the conservative activist and the hunt for the suspect gripped the nation. The organization moves forward with its college tour at Utah State University tonight, just 2 hours north of the university where Kirk was killed. Now, in place of Charlie Kirk, tonight's event features conservative host Alex Clark, host of the Real Alex Clark podcast. But let's bring in KUTV anchor and reporter Heidi Hatch live from the event for us. Heidi, you reported extensively from Utah Valley University campus in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and your son was actually at that Turning Point rally. Parents, everyone, I think everywhere understood the sigh of relief when you were able to finally reunite with him. Can you take us back to that day where you not only had to be an anchor, a journalist, but also a mom who was worried about where her son was? What was that day like for you?
Sure. 3 weeks seems like the longest time and also the shortest time. 3 weeks ago, I got a call from my son who I didn't even know was going to be at that event. And when he was there, he called me just minutes after the shooting happened, and you could hear the panic and you could hear the yelling in the background going on. And he said he was running for his life because they didn't know if other people were going to be shot. He was not far from the stage where this happened, and he was frightened for his life. I don't even know how to explain it listening to it because we talk about these kind of things in the news all the time. But getting that call from my son was overwhelming. It took about 6 hours before I was able to see him. I was instantly down there live on campus talking about the manhunt that was going on. And again, took about 6 hours before I could see him, but one of the best hugs I've had in a long time. So a lot of parents had a very difficult time, and I think difficult time in these last few weeks have been sending our kids back to school again.
And not only dealing with that, but having to also get back to work and report on this very important breaking news. Now to the event at hand here today. We know Governor Spencer Cox is there tonight. Talk to us about the program and what we can expect.
Well, tonight we expect several people to be on stage. Governor Cox will be there. He has been out in the forefront since this shooting happened. He was featured on 60 Minutes this last Sunday, talking to people about really turning down the temperature, listening to people, and getting politics back to a conversation where we can listen to each other. Also on stage tonight will be former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. He was there at Utah Valley University with his wife and his kids as that event happened. He was friends with Charlie Kirk. Also, Senator Mike Lee, who's in Washington, D.C., he'll be joining by Zoom tonight. He couldn't be here because they still have those votes going on in Congress right now. But they're hoping to play the role, or at least fill the shoes of Charlie Kirk tonight, answering questions from the audience, largely thousands of students here tonight who were hoping to talk to Charlie, but hoping to continue that civil conversation.
And Heidi, you mentioned you spoke to former Congressman Jason Chaffetz. I'm curious what his message was.
Well, his message is the message we've been hearing from Governor Cox here in Utah as well, that we really have to continue this conversation, especially with young people right now, making sure that college students feel like their voices, they're heard, to make sure that they feel understood and can talk about issues. He says this is a time when you're on college campuses where you're learning, you're growing, figuring out who you are. Certainly emotional for him because, again, just 3 weeks ago, he was there as that shooting happened. Here's a piece of that conversation.
I think the political violence has reached a new level. I mean, twice they tried to assassinate President Trump. You have the Charlie Kirk shooting, you have the bombing of an LDS chapel. It's a bit overwhelming. There can be vigorous dialogue. That's what Charlie Kirk was all about. Hey, you don't agree with me? Come on, let's chat it through. But to take it to a degree of violence, that's a bridge too far. But I'm glad to see so many happy warriors out here that believe in the message of Charlie Kirk.
Happy warriors is a good way to describe a lot of these students. As I was talking to them, they were in line today. They were excited to be here. They were hoping to be here 3 weeks ago before the shooting happened, and even more so after it did. They said they wanted to make sure that kids knew that they could still show up. They wanted to be here. They wanted to be a part of this movement that Charlie Kirk started really in earnest before the 2024 election, getting a lot of college campuses and students to start talking. So again, a lot of students inside. We don't have numbers yet. We do know their capacity tonight was 500. 5,500, definitely thousands in there for sure. Not exactly the exact numbers. I can tell you overhead, we've had drones, 3 of them I can see just in the area around where I'm standing right now. Bomb sniffing dogs. We've had local police, state police, and federal as well. So tight security tonight, a lot more than we obviously saw at Utah Valley University. Hindsight always 20/20, but some lessons have certainly been learned.
Certainly. And Heidi, we understand the university had a bomb scare earlier. Can you talk to us about some of the security precautions at that event? I see some barricades behind you.
Yeah, there's a lot of security. The scare happened around 2:30 this afternoon, actually, when we were arriving. And their quad, their open green space where this happened is a lot like where the shooting happened at Utah Valley University. There's a building called Old Main where they had classes inside. There was a suspicious package called in. There's been signs all over campus today telling students, if you see something, say something, call it in. A student did call something in. The bomb team came up. They blew it up. They haven't said whether it was a backpack, a school lunch, or if it was something that was of concern. But they cleared that building for about an hour and a half today and then let students go back to class. Security very tight behind us. The street we're on right now has been blocked off with large cement barricades. They also have, like I said, drones overhead just above us. They also have had security snipers on the roofs as well around the building before people went in, bomb sniffing dogs. I know a couple hours ago, I really needed to use the restroom, and to get inside, I took my jacket off. They gave me a good search, used the magnetometer, left my phone, everything I had outside the building, had an officer escort me inside this building so I could use the restroom and come back out. When I went inside, there were dozens and dozens of officers just in the few feet I walked inside. So they definitely are going for safety today and making sure that no stone was left unturned and making sure that this would be an event that did not have any security issues.
Hopefully there will be none. Heidi Hatch, thank you so much.